I have played in many kingdom. I grew up. I started in the mid realm. I have played mostly in the mid realm, but I have done this presentation in Amsterdam in Meridia's, and now I am doing it in mid realm. So this is a mid realm focused version of this presentation, as you will see later why that is relevant. Although some of it can be done across kingdoms, some of it is mid-realm specific things like, oh, you go specifically to this link, oh, you go specifically, these are the specific award trees that we look at. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So I'm just going to advance it. So you see a cool thing. Now what do you do? Personally, I recommend largesse. Largesse is a wonderful thing. I think everyone should be handing out largesse whenever they see a cool thing that they did. Someone did something, some really neat volunteer work, whether they were doing service, they were teaching AMS, they did a neat move on the rapier field, on the archery field, on the archery line, on whatever thing they did. I think there should be more largesse, and I just don't, I feel like I don't see enough largesse, but that is a different place. That's not why we're here. If you see it repeatedly, if they are always doing the cool thing, whatever the cool thing is, you should see where they are in the OP and see if they have an award that reflects that standing, what they have done in the OP. So if they are always doing something nifty on the rapier field, do they have a cabinet? Do they have a bronze ring? What do they have that reflects their nifty rapier status? And once again, that's going to be different in different kingdoms, which is why I say this is the drum focus. What do they have that says, hey, look, this is nifty in this field? So you looking to see at the OP to see what is next. So what exactly is the OP? A lot of us will talk, especially as heralds. Conrad knows what I'm talking about. Conrad will throw around these two words together, OP. It's order of precedence. It is it will show you the grand marching order of everyone in the kingdom and where they rank, what wards they have, and what wards are missing. And if you want to know absolutely everyone in the kingdom's rank, it will show you. I accidentally put the SCA's rank. It is not. There is no one SCA global OP. It is a kingdom by kingdom currently, although some kingdoms do combine theirs. I forget which three, but the anterior one is like actually covers several kingdoms. So if you want to look at some in those kingdoms, you're actually going to go to the one in anterior, and I believe it's anterior outlands and Artemisia. It's something like those three kingdoms are all covered by the anterior. And I want probably that might have changed since I last looked. I don't look at those very often. I'm not out there. I don't play out there. I play more in the Midwest and on the East Coast. I don't really play on the West Coast, and I know it was a West Coast thing where they combined the kingdoms. So each one will typically have a different thing. So but we're Biscaynians. Why do we care about what the OP looks like? Why do we care whether or not they have these awards? We want to make sure our friends and enemies have the awards that they deserve. And the only way to make sure that they have the awards that they deserve is to look at that darn OP and to make sure that they're on there. And it can be a pain, because if you're not spelling their name as according to the OP, you might not be finding them, and you might be looking for Joe, commonly known as this last name, but his last name in the order of precedence is the Joe other last name. And that's why you're not finding him. So you put him in for an award, and there is absolutely no reason for you to do it, because you already have it, you just didn't know it. And that's fine, that's one of the things you often come up with. But you know, it's a thing. So this is the mid-realm OP. We're gonna hop in on mine. Wow. I forgot this wasn't gonna be on my computer, so I'm trying to remember my passcode, and I think this is it. Yay. And you're right over here. I have the mouse and the pictures over here, but thank you for helping me said we'll put it closer. So we're going to go over here, over to this corner where it says order of precedence. We're going to click it and see if it responds. Of course.
See the end of the arrow.
Yeah.
At the end.
Okay. The other side. There you go. Okay. I always forget how it works. And you can see that we have Killian, Lita, as our king and queen. And up here is the search. The search is the most useful of the functions. And this is where you can, yes, please don't say my password on this stream computer. The search is the most useful of the functions. Once, like I said, it might be spelled different. It might have an accent. You might be putting an accent aigu when it's an accent grave. If you don't speak in French, that's probably why you don't understand those terms, and that's okay, because most of us don't understand those terms. And I have one in my SCA name, and I don't remember which one I have, and that's fine. It only matters when you look this up. And in theory, you can bypass that by putting an asterisk in, but if you don't know that, the mid-realm portal will kind of be a little finicky anyway. So is there anyone that we want to look up to see? You should be on there.
Now let's see through this. Let's see that. No? Should we check in the whole thing and finish checking that out?
Yeah, I think it's on the board.
Well, that was
So it says that you have an award arms. If you own this account, which I don't remember how to do, because unfortunately I was one of the test ones whenever they set up the account, where when they set up the new service portal website, so mine was automatically connected. You can connect this so that whenever you click on this, you can edit this part of the profile. So you can change your SCA name, your home group, and your profile picture, your image device. I don't remember how I.
When they went to the system, it auto-populated like 3 different things for me, and I had to have them combined. It's just the info at the award people.
Yeah. Just message the help desk and they'll figure it out.
Yep. Talk to the help desk. Make sure if you own one of the,
If you want to bring mine up, I've got mine really filled out, or at least I did maybe so.
Mine is also really filled out if we want to look at that part. But if yours isn't, you can. Well, Thóra Róarsdóttir me. So, yep. So we have, you have your SCA number right here. You have your username right here. You know, I have my address in Campbellsburg. So if you want to send me like Christmas cards or whatever, legal name, and And yes, Thóra is my legal name if you want to send me postcards or anything. Home group, and I'm active, and my profile picture, my device picture, like the awards that you have. And that one was a fight to get attached to this because.
I had one that was all my personal information, another one with my awards, and a third one, I think, that will have to be defined.
Yeah, but you want this to look something like this, except for to have your information on there, and that's wonderful. That's what we want it to be. You want to be able to edit your information. Your home information is important to the OP. Once again, this is a mid-round based one. The NCORN one is very different, I know, and I can only imagine how different that it gets from NCORA to, I know we have someone from Avacol in here. I can only imagine how different it gets from different, from kingdom to kingdom to kingdom to kingdom. So, but as a mid-round presenter, this is how this looks. And I'm going to leave this up as we go back to the presentation, because we're going to be coming back to it a little bit later, even though it's not going to quite work because mine is messed up. So, log in, create a login if it's your first time. So you go to the order of precedence, click, I need to change that to click on the little arrow instead of click on the word. See who you can find, more notably who you can't. Like I said, keep in mind that there are special characters, like if there are the accents on there, if there's a Thorin, which that's the alt code for the Thorin in case anyone needs it. If you need the alt codes, this is a good website for the alt codes. Because sometimes it's a pain in the tush. I think it's the correct word that we can use for within this one on the internet. To find those gosh darn alt codes that will actually work on a universal platform. That website has, it's the Purdue website. It has the codes that will work universal, but it does have the 0 reference to the 4-digit ones. So there is, I can't find the 3-digit ones anymore. So that part's kind of a bummer, but oh well. So you found someone that has a missing award. Now what? Once again, this is a mid-round based one. You go to the award recommendations, and I don't think, no, of course not. No. It does not work the way I wanted it to. Yep, that's what I wanted. So the award recommendations, I wanted to do that, but apparently it's not linked. Why is it not linked? Fill out the form and ideally have others fill it out too. That's the key part. Start a little campaign and be like, hey everyone, I think Conrad is really cool. I think that we should all be giving him this award. I don't need no awards you don't have. So.
I totally needs an AOA.
He does. He needs an AOA really bad. He's been doing this for so many years, and he's been dragging Harold. If he doesn't have the AOA, then gosh darn it, it's time that he gets his goddamn AOA. You know, things like that. And so this is basically what we would talk about if we could fill it out. Give them a little information about yourself, which is like, hey, my name is Thóra, and so this is why you should believe that I'm a real person and I'm not a robot. Give them that person's SCA name. And if they don't have an SCA name, that's fine. Give them their name, their legal name. They just need something to make sure that they're getting it to the right person. That is 100% what they need most of all. And then they need just a little, they need the area in which the award is in, and then about which level they don't have the award in. So if they already have their bronze ring, be like, hey, they should probably get a peerage. Bronze ring is the grant level rapier award for those who are not in the crown. Some crowns prefer a full CV. They want absolutely everything that the person has done, from every little detail, everything that they have done service for. If it's a service award, they want everything that they have can even remotely be considered service. But most prefer brevity. But don't be too brief. Like there's a fine line. Like you don't want to be so brief that the crown doesn't understand why the person doesn't deserve the award. Like you want them to understand this person is cool. This is why I think he's cool. But you don't necessarily want to bog them down with details. Like there is a fine line there. The next event that the person will be attending is important. The crowns will try to accommodate this. So obviously some can't because things happen. Like if you don't put it down and like it's like, but they see it and they're like, hey, we're just guessing and we still want this person to get an award. And it's after the last one that you said that they was going to be at. They're just going to guess. And if you don't know, say so in the comments. Be like, I don't know when the next time Conrad's going to be at an event is, but I really want him to get this award. Conrad, I'm going to use you a lot in your examples.
For people who don't travel a lot, the trick I use for that is put into events I know I'm going to, so that pick up.
That's a good point, yeah. Make sure that there's someone that they know they can pick it up or something along those lines. Either someone that someone is from the group that is going or you yourself are going to, something along those lines. So the crown has something to work with. Because that is something that, like, the crown needs something. And it's unfortunate that, like, they need something. They're trying to do something nice. We should be nice to them, right? Okay, so you already recommended someone. I recommended Conrad for his 808 years ago. Why hasn't he gotten this? Keep updating this in your recommendation. Don't keep on filling out recommendation after recommendation after recommendation. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. When I say that, I specifically mean that for the mid-round. If it's not the mid-round, it's not as important. But I know in the mid-round, this is as much as you can, you should be able to update the
Don't think the current system you can update.
Okay.
At least the previous two ones you can go back and update.
The current
Okay.
The current one you don't. It prints a form once.
okay.
Submit the form again.
Right.
So you have to fill it out over.
It sends you a copy so you can cut and paste it and add to it.
Okay.
But you don't have the old version where you could go in.
Because I was going to say mine is not currently linked, but that would explain why. Because none of them are currently linked.
None of them are currently linked.
Okay.
Oh, I still have a couple that are in the old system I saw recently. The person did get a sapphire, but they were made of pelican. It balances it.
Yeah. If you need to, fill out another. Okay, so I'm going to change this. Fill out the form again that says what makes them awesome sauce. Put more events on there that the person will be at / that people will be at so that they can get their award from your like we made a whole big thing at this practice because one of our people wasn't able to go to an event, but they were at a practice, so we just made this big huge thing. Like we had this reading, we had a herald, like we made an event as much as we could for them, and they loved it. Like, is it going to replace them being there for the area away? No, but you know, you make do with what you can. Sometimes they just need more of those details that, like I said, if you were a little too brief, sometimes you just need more of those details of, oh yeah, they did this service, they did this teaching thing, they did this marshalling stuff, they did this MIC stuff. Those type things that kind of exemplify what they do, that make them deserving of the award. And it just kind of lets the crown know, no, really, they're still doing the thing. Here it is. The other thing is you can get, once again, start a campaign. Get other people to go, hey, I don't know if you were looking at Conrad before. Maybe keep an eye on him. Keep it, you know, he's a cool dude. If you don't know him now, maybe you should get to know him later. So, a few notes. Anyone can recommend anyone for anything. Joe Nobody, who's completely new, off the street, can recommend someone for a knighthood. Even though they have absolutely no idea what we think a knighthood means. They can recommend it for if they have all the information. If they come to this class and they have the link to the, they can recommend for a knighthood, and the crown will respect it as much as a recommendation from a knight going in. Now, will the person become a knight? Probably not, if they don't have the qualifications. But will they get something? There's a decent chance. Because Joe Nobody decided to write in, took the time and effort. There's a good chance something will come of it, even if it's just, hey, someone decided to write you in, we're going to give you some largesse and call you up in court and give you an attaboy of some sort.
And that can start the process. For peerages, it's a longer, more detailed, that's several classes of its own.
Yeah.
But it can bring somebody, it can cause somebody to be brought to the attention.
Yes.
And you may never realize that 3 years later,
Yes.
it was because you wrote that recommendation.
Yes. So the right recommendations for anyone, for anything that you feel is missing, right recommendations, they will be considered, even if they are not given the weight you feel. Write it in. You don't know their SCA name? That's fine. Mundane names are fine. You don't know their mundane name? That's fine. SCA names are fine. You typically do want a first name and a last name though, especially with the more common ones. Like there are a lot of us Thoras. Like, you know, you want to either know my mundane last name or my SCA last name. One of the two. Like, I'm Thora either way, but I'm one of the exceptions when it comes to that, where my first name and SCA name, first name are the same. Another thing is you can skip levels, where most crowns, most of the time, and most kingdoms, and once again, this is different from kingdom to kingdom to kingdom, but in the mid-round especially, most crowns will prefer AOA level to GOA level to peerage. You will not go necessarily AOA to sub-AOA to GOA to sub-GOA to peerage, but you will typically go AOA level, GOA level, peerage level stuff. And another thing, certain ones, most of them, you can have the same of multiple ones of the same awards. Almost all of them. You can have multiple of the same award. So if you think that they are doing something super cool, but it's in a slightly different field, especially in an A&S, in arts and science, if you think that they're doing something really cool, but it's different A&S, which most of the time it is noted on the OP, which A&S it is noted, it is, there's a little note where it's like, oh, they got, not a whistle, but that's it. It's alright. Willow. Willow, thank you. They got a willow in puppetry, though you can be like, no, he's really cool in toy making too, like something like that. But yeah, and you can have the same level award in different kingdoms, especially with it's like that with the A&S, where it's in different specialties. Go for it.
If the designator is a ward, it is specifically designed and intended that it can be given repeatedly to the same, to multiple times to the same person. If it's an order, by tradition, generally become an order once. But there's no rules against it, and there's no society level difference in designators, which is a good thing, because as a crown, you don't want to be breaking laws if you accidentally gave somebody a willow that already had a willow. So it's an interesting way in which our laws are written. It's all the ones that start on awards say this award is designed to be given multiple times. The orders don't say that. But there's nothing, and some of them work better. I know lots of people who have gotten multiple willows over the years. There's other ones that don't work as well for that. Greenwood Company, Red Company, those you generally know when somebody's part of that. So, but yeah, we actually had that at one point where the crowns were actually breaking kingdom law because they were giving out grants of arms by themselves to people who hadn't been great officers of state. And the way the law was written at the time, they were violating the law, which is not a good thing for a crown to do.
I can see how that would be read as the only way to get a GOA.
But it used to be in the mid-realm, and it's changed different ways at different times. And on the cusp of one of those changes, it was like, guys, you realize this is not good. You can change that rule.
All right, so this is a mid-realm specific thing, where we're going to talk about the trees of where we go from AOA level to grant level to peer and the different branches. So the service, the AOA level is a purple thread. You still have an AOA where you have the general AOA, but the AOA level is a purple thread. You have the branch of arms, which is the dragon's heart. So you can either get a branch of arms or you can get a dragon's heart. And as peerage, you typically get a pelican. I don't know anyone who's gotten just a typical peer in the mid-realm. I think it has to be a specific peerage.
Yes.
In mid-realm anyway.
No, that's society one.
Okay. I thought. Okay. In the A&S, you can have the willow if it's an art, and the silver oak if it's a science. What makes it an art and what makes it a science? Throw it out a window. If it breaks, it's an art, and if it doesn't break, if it breaks, it's a science. If it doesn't break, it's an art. Really, there's no real difference between art and science. It's just kind of subjective, which is why we can make jokes like that. Most kingdoms will have just one AOA level. But then we make a lot more.
Tells you how old the kingdom is.
Yeah. Yes. We make a lot more sense than just have the one evergreen and the one peerage of floral. In rapier, we have the AOA level Dragon's Tooth, which is not a AOA level award as much as it's an award for a dramatic deed. And then we're like, hey, you did something cool. Here's a Dragon's Tooth. That is also given out in chivalric. So it is just for like martial activities. Hey, you did something cool. Have an award. The rapier specific is the Cavenaugh, the branch of arms is the bronze ring, and the peerage is the master of defense. In chivalric, we have 3. We have the Dragon's Tooth, which was mentioned, the Queen's Favor for courtesy, the King's Chalice for authenticity, and the Red Company for melee. And that is according to kingdom law, that these ones are written, those ones are specifically done that way. So, yeah. The gold mace is also for melee. That is the branch of arms. And then we have a knight or a master of arms. For equestrian, we have the white champron, and the branch of arms is the white lance. For missiles, we have, which is thrown weapons and archery. We have the Dragon's Barb for AOA, and Greenwood Company for the brand of arms. And in youth, we have the Dragon's Treasure in service, the baton, I think it's just baton, and might be the Dragon's baton.
No, it's just the baton.
No, okay. For chivalric, the silver acorn for ANS, and the Dragon's Barb for archery. Note that none of the youth carry precedence. They do not get an AOA level anything, none of them, which I think is a real bummer.
Well,
I know that they were talking about changing it, but.
no, the thing is, there's nothing that stops a youth from getting an AOA or AOA level award. My niece had her AOA at 12.
Yeah. I know, I just think that that's a bummer that the youth awards don't carry anything.
The youth awards carry, they're meant, they can be given repeatedly, and they can be given from anybody in any range of youth. When you get up into the preteens, teens, it's really on how are they participating.
Some other ones in the mid-round, we have the Doe's Grace, which is courtesy. It does carry an AOA. We have the AOA in general, which is just the award of arms. We have the GOA in general, which is branch of arms, which is distinguished something or other. If you are a group, you can have the Dragon's Teeth for impressive groups fighting, purple threading for excellent service, Dragon's Flight for archery, and the Grove for ANS. That is it for me. Yep, doesn't go down any further. So, do I have any questions?
Any questions?
One though I caught, I think you had Queen's Favor on the other slide.
I believe Queen's Favor was listed as a courtesy of AOA.
Okay. Yeah, that actually is the Doe's Grace.
There was one listed, this was taken from the award,
It was probably renamed. It was renamed Doe's Grace over 30 years ago.
Well, no, they made a difference between, I don't know, because it implied that the Doe's Grace was the chivalric,
or somewhere on the website that
Yes.
lists them as separate things, or it doesn't make a clear distinction.
The standard text for a donor's grace is the sign of the Queen's favor, the award of the donor's grace.
Yes, it was different from the, Queen's favor. There's a difference between the Queen's favor, what used to be the Queen's favor, and the new Queen's favor. Because
If you look up somebody that got a precedence or a Queen's favor before the name change, it might still.
let me see if I can find the exact thing instead of going off from memory.
We're getting into the weeds, I'm gonna stop recording. Are we good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it.